US and Russia have put forward rival draft resolutions on renewing program tasked with investigating deadly gas attacks in SyriaRussia, and the United States are on a collision course ahead of a UN Security Council vote on the fate of a UNled investigation to determine who is behind chemical attacks in Syria's six-year war. The United States and Russia, Syria's ally, have put forward rival draft resolutions on renewing for a year the mandate of the Joint Investigative Mechanism JIM, tasked with investigating Syria's toxic gas attacks. After negotiations failed to bridge differences, the rivals each called for a council vote on their draft resolutions on Thursday, hours before the JIM's mandate expires at midnight. Russia has vetoed 9 resolutions on Syria since the conflict started in 2011, including blocking an initial US bid on the 24th of October to renew the JIM, saying it wanted to wait for the release 2 days later of the inquiry's report, which subsequently blamed a sarin gas attack on the Syrian government. The Russian text is unlikely to garner the 9 votes required for adoption, diplomats said. The United States hopes the Security Council will stand united in the face of chemical weapons use against civilians and extend the work of this critical group, the U.S. mission to the United Nations said in a statement on Wednesday. Not doing so would only give consent to such atrocities while tragically failing the Syrian people who have suffered from these despicable acts, the statement added. Read more. Russia demands UNled report blaming Syria for sarin attack. Russia sharply criticized the JIM after its report blamed the Syrian Air Force for the 4th of April sarin gas attack on the opposition-held village of Khan Sheikhan that left scores dead. That attack triggered global outrage as images of dying children were shown worldwide, prompting the US to launch a multiple missile strike on a Syrian airbase a few days later. Washington and its allies have also blamed President Bashar al-Assad's government for the Khan Sheikhan attack, but Syria has denied using chemical weapons, with strong backing from Russia. Victory for those who use chemical weapons. In its draft, Russia insisted that the panel's findings on Khan Sheikhan be put aside to allow for another scale and high-quality investigation by the JIM, which would be extended for a year. The United States, Britain and France have insisted that the JIM should be allowed to continue its work and that dozens of other cases of chemical weapons use in Syria be investigated. British UN Ambassador Matthew Rycroft warned on Wednesday that if the inquiry ended, the only victors would be people who want to use chemical weapons in Syria, which is the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad regime plus Daesh, using a different acronym for the Islamic State IS group. Everyone in the Security Council would be shooting ourselves in the foot if we allowed that to happen, he said. Russian Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia said this week that scrapping the chemical weapons probe in Syria may send a bad signal, but the way the investigation has been conducted sends an even worse signal. The Joint Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons (OPCW) panel was set up by Russia and the United States in 2015 and unanimously endorsed by the Council, which renewed its mandate last year. The resolution requires 9 votes to be adopted at the Council, but the 5 permanent members Russia, Britain, China, France and the United States can individually block its adoption with a veto power.